Alright guys, I'm back. This will be kind of a quick video. Got it pretty much back together and we are in operation.
So it's likely that he'll continue to have to act on his own, and perhaps there is some room for bipartisan compromise in the last 2 years, but if he wants to act, he's going to have to figure out a way to make it happen. Yeah, those relationships, though, have not been there for him.
Tubes are lighting up good.
In, what is 6 years.
And
the constant criticism about that they're not smooth.
turn this back on, give them more light. Now down the radio is, I'm pretty happy with, because down below around 1,000 around here, 1,000 kilocycles, 1 megacycle on the AM band. There's not a lot of radio stations. There's none close by. They're all fairly far away. So for it to pick up, and I'm running about 20-foot wire on it. Is pretty good.
Ready for the holidays.
Right about in here.
They don't want us to know that they're there.
That's the NPR radio station out of Chicago.
Let's go find out who that is.
Just 300 miles from me.
And so we start walking fast.
Party and its agenda. They had always been that. Still take some talent. Save as much as you can for as long as you can. Listen, you've probably had longer carry-out orders, but this stuff can fill you up for years and years to come. Here's something else that can help our answers to your questions. 888-833-8637. Questions that you have about your 401k, this market volatility.
This is WHO 1040. The dial's just a little bit off, and the only way you can adjust it is you loosen 2 screws and just move this dial. There is no, it's not like a super heterodyne where you can adjust the local oscillator, because there's no local oscillator to adjust. This is out of about 110 miles away. Gotta be very careful around here. There's some strong stations local.
You can only get to the store by scuba diving. Now, of course, this isn't in an installment of James Bond or an episode of Lost. It's actually happening in
It does get quite loud for a strong station.
Is the Sony Xperia Aquatech store. So again, you got to put on all your scuba gear and you go right down, because they want you to buy the Sony Xperia waterproof device.
Another local station. I believe. Yep, the light.
Alright, every caller who speaks with me on the air, we got MacBook Airs and Pros. Vacations to Vancouver, San Francisco, Nassau, Paradise Island. Smartphones, iRobots, security systems, gym watch sensors, restaurant.com, gift cards, and a whole bunch more.
So it's working really good. Picks up really good. And
Once again, that's giveaway.commando.com.
it
Hey, coming right back, we're talking about 6 things, or 5 things rather, you should take pictures of.
works as good as any of my super heterodyne radios. For being a TRF radio, this thing is doing really good. I'm pretty satisfied with it and impressed with its operation. We did get our ballast hooked in, which, an afterthought,
While you're busy making your
I was thinking about,
criminals are hard at
we'll
work
turn this
trying
down a little bit, and was going to put it into that socket there, but I was concerned about the heat from the sides, and it is not, I mean, there's just virtually no heat from the sides. All of it's going out the top. In fact, the tubes here, these are the 45 output tubes, they're producing more heat to the side than this thing does by a long shot. So transformers are staying nice and cool. This side over here is a little warm because we got the 80 rectifier, so it's radiating heat onto the case. Same way as this transformer's got a little bit of warmth because, well, there's 3 high-powered tubes that are putting heat out onto them. So, but it's working all right. Got a 2 amp fuse in it, and with this in place, to keep it right at about 80 volts where these transformers want to run at, I can run, I'm inputting around 125 volts into it. So, which is perfectly good, because that's about, I run between 120 and 125 on average on my outlets. Now, something I ran into when I was working on this and getting her up and running and stuff, was I was initially checking plate voltage, and I have a couple different copies of the schematic and service information. One is actually from RCA, and it states in there that the 26s should be running at 105 volts on plate voltage when it's operating, with the volume control turned all the way down, basically no signal coming in. The writers says 112 volts. Well, if you crank it and try to get 112 volts going through these plates, they don't like it. With the biasing that they're set at, it throws them off, and it actually won't pick up as good. The gain is lost. So I found that quite interesting. 2 pieces of service information being wrong, one being wrong and the other one is probably more accurately correct, being it's actually the RCA information. Now, when I first hooked this thing up and started to use it, it didn't want to work. I only had like 4 volts on plate voltage on the receiver, so I started running some voltage checks, and ended up, once I disconnected this chassis from the power supply chassis, then the pin that feeds B plus over to here then started having around 112 volts with no load on it. So I knew there was something going on in here, so I started tracing it down. Figured it had to be some sort of short that was going on, and turned out it was. On the coil pack sockets, in fact this one in particular right here, when I had drilled the rivets out to pull it out, it evidently caught a ground strap that was riveted in that grounds the resistor in there at one end of the coil, and it twisted it, and it was in contact with one of the condenser, and I didn't notice it. neutralizing condenser, and I didn't notice that it was, which basically that side of that went right to the plates. So I had a dead short basically going to ground right there, so I had to get it bent around and fixed. Once that was done, it was working fine. But you can make mistakes. It happens. The hum is not really all that noticeable. I've got other TRF radios that have more hum than this, so I don't think I'm going to mess with adding that 6 microfarad cap in. I'll just leave it out. Now I do have to, right now it's just temporary taped. I do have to take that connection and get some heat shrink tubing over it so it's more permanent. But and then of course there's some cleaning to do, and the speaker needs to be cleaned up. It's still rather dirty. This front face needs cleaning. There's quite a bit of dirt on it. I have to order a light bulb to put in here. It never had the light bulb in it. And a few little minor things of that nature, and of course then it goes back in the cabinet. But before it does, I'll probably, well, no, I need this too. I need to see about that phonograph. Like I said earlier in an earlier video, I was not getting any continuity on the coil going to the head on the magnetic head cartridge. So I need to find out if that coil's bad or if there's a break in the wire somewhere, and then deal with it, because I like to get it working and running too. But I've been running this thing this morning for over an hour, and it's just sitting here purring right along. So anyway, something else I wanted to kind of just show you guys, just in case you didn't remember what the cabinet looked like from one of the previous videos. Here's a shot of it with the doors open, doors closed, backside. Now a few things I want you to pay attention to, because I'm going to show you something else here in a minute, is this entire front. You see that there's 4 different veneers here right along the top, making it rather interesting. And of course the cutouts and the detailing and the different veneering going around these areas. Of course this front piece here is with the radio. Then of course the grill cloth and everything. In the back you've got these 2 cubby holes here. These hold records for you, and they also make a place right up the top here for the phonograph to mount. It mounts against those and around. And then of course there's some slide boards in here to hold the power supply amplifier in place. Now the reason why I'm showing you this is because I was cruising around Craigslist. Someone has a cabinet for one, and he wants a hefty $175, the best offer. I did contact him just out of curiosity to see how low he would go, and his bottom dollar is $150 on this cabinet. Now, looks fine. It has no radio in it, but there's a reason why. This is the front. There's nothing there. That entire nice front is gone, completely gone, which would take quite a bit of work and a lot of material to replicate this. It's completely gone, and the only thing that's left in it, someone's put a back on here, a plywood back, is just the 2 shelf boards. This is the radio shelf board, or yeah, where the radio would fit, but those cubby holes are gone, the pockets for the records, and some of the railing down here is gone for the power supply. Here's a better shot of it. You can see where the record pockets used to be right here, but they even busted some of the board up right up in here, getting it tore apart. They made it into just a shelf cabinet is what they done, and he's wanting 175. As far as I'm concerned, the only thing this cabinet's worth is for parts. If someone had a radio and a cabinet and had, like, maybe the doors were missing, or one side was bad, or the legs were missing, or the top was really bad shape, or something like that, then that's the only thing this cabinet's good for. To try to bring it back to this would be quite a bit of work, and a lot of different materials, and stuff, to veneers, different veneers and stuff that could, it would be a lot of time and expense. So it's nowhere worth $175 or $150. To me, it's only worth maybe $20, because it's a parts cabinet. That's all it is. But I find it interesting to find stuff like that on Craigslist. Here's them voltages, 112 and 112. I think they made a misprint, because they show with the tube out, and then with the tube in it loads down, but the 26s never showed any load. Now the detector, they do with the tube out, 52 volts, 44 with it in. These should be 105. So that. Now a few other little things. If you look here at the primary on the schematic, there's no fuse. You don't see no fuse symbol. But if we go here, right there, in this little spot right here, there's a fuse. It even says 2 ampere fuse. So there's the fuse. It's interesting they didn't show it on the schematic. So, but I think the reason why this radio works so good is, especially compared to all my other TRF radios that I've got up and running, is it has 5 amplifier stages, 5 26 tubes. So it's got, the most I have on any of the others is 4 that's running. So this thing actually does better. It's a lot more sensitive, and it seems to work really good. I can't think of anything else to put on here. I am going to make a video after this one. I'm going to get this stuff kind of picked up and then make a video and put a link to someone else's video as well on testing capacitors. I was going to do it initially, and Bob over at B. Anderson TV also put up a video, and I'll put a link to that video in this next video's description. But where he was testing capacitors, and one of my viewers wanted me to still go ahead, because I had decided, well, there's not much more I can say. Well, I just send you guys over to him and watch his. But one of my viewers does want me to go ahead and do one, and I thought, well, maybe it's not so bad of an idea, because he shows using a solar, and I've got an ICO, so maybe you guys might want to see. Even though they operate virtually the same way, there's differences between them, and so you might find that interesting. Anyway, so there'll be a couple more videos on this as I get it cleaned up a little bit and showing you some more stuff, and then of course on the phonograph what we find out there, and if I may have to wind a new coil. I don't know yet. So anyway, I thought I'd get a video out letting you guys know that
Vision Core.
it is working. So picks up pretty good. So anyway, I think I'll stop the video here. I want to thank you all for watching, and thanks for your comments and your kind words, and thanks to my new subscribers. And so I'll see you guys on the next video, which will be coming up here real shortly. Thanks again.